Copilot is everywhere, yet seemingly nobody wants it. Despite Microsoft's massive investment and ambitious promises of a PC you can talk to, users are furious, and a staggering 96% of its own customer base refuses to pay for it. This isn't just a misstep, it could be Microsoft's biggest disaster in history. Out of 450 million commercial Microsoft 365 seats, a mere 3% are using paid Copilot subscriptions. This stark reality underscores a significant problem. Microsoft's market capitalization plummeted by $500 billion in a single week after the company announced even more substantial AI spending. Yet, the true extent of Copilot's failure runs even deeper, with over 96% of its Microsoft 365 customer base still unwilling to pay for the service. What makes this situation even more baffling are Microsoft's wild expectations for Copilot. It's truly ubiquitous. If you're on Windows 11, simply click the taskbar search button, and you'll spot it in the top right corner. So, what exactly was Copilot designed for? The original pitch was, a PC you can talk to, essentially, Microsoft's ultimate, do-stuff-for-me assistant. It promised to simplify tasks, like finding a specific Windows setting without navigating through notoriously complex menus, or analyzing data in Excel to create charts and formulas. It could generate presentation decks in PowerPoint from a Word document, or summarize and draft replies in Outlook, leveraging information across all your Microsoft 365 applications. But its integration went beyond just 365 apps, it was embedded directly into Windows itself. Users could ask it to locate, summarize, and compare local files, even those stored in OneDrive. Beyond day-to-day tasks, a massive segment of AI use lies in programming, arguably the largest market for AI products. Microsoft, already owning GitHub, the world's largest code hosting and collaboration platform, acquired in 2018, wanted a piece of this action. They combined GitHub with Copilot, rolling out GitHub Copilot. This tool functions much like other AI agents within your code editor, but powered by Copilot rather than GPT or Claude. On paper, some of Microsoft's promises for Copilot sounded incredibly appealing. The idea of an agent pulling up files like a robust search function, or seamlessly integrating across various files and Windows applications, seemed incredibly convenient. That is, if it actually worked. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella envisioned something far grander. He declared Copilot would be, essentially, a new category of computing, comparing its significance to the PC in the 80s, the web in the 90s, mobile in the 2000s, and cloud in the 2010s. He suggested that just as you boot an operating system or use a browser, you would involve a Copilot to do all these activities and more. To be frank, Microsoft seemed to be verging on obsession with Copilot, pushing it into every corner of their ecosystem. They rebranded the Microsoft 365 app to Microsoft 365 Copilot, even changing the logo to feature Copilot's distinctive design. It was integrated into Edge, the taskbar, all their applications, and even a new Copilot Plus PC. This aggressive push came with a hefty price tag. Copilot is built on ChatGPT models, enhanced with Microsoft's own modifications, a venture they initially invested $11.6 billion into. Even Bill Gates reportedly warned Nadella in 2019, saying, "You're going to burn this $1 billion." But Microsoft was just getting started. In 2023 and 2024, their projected AI infrastructure spending reached $80 billion. By 2025, they were projected to spend over $30 billion per quarter, with the majority allocated to GPUs and CPUs for AI. Nadella remained supremely confident, targeting enterprise customers, large businesses that would purchase hundreds, if not thousands, of Copilot seats. At $30 per seat, per month, and with hundreds of millions of Microsoft 365 seats globally, the potential revenue if even half adopted Copilot was astronomical. However, Microsoft needed to prove its value. They commissioned Forrester Consulting to study Copilot's impact, which estimated businesses could see a return on investment between 137% and 367%. Copilot was also expected to improve efficiency by 6 to 13%, translating to a value of $5 million to $9. $6 million over 3 years. For small to medium businesses, Forrester projected a 6% increase in revenue, 20% lower operating costs, and 25% faster new hire onboarding. These projections sounded fantastic, if Copilot actually delivered. Initially, the news seemed promising. A reported 94% of organizations using Microsoft 365 Copilot claimed to experience some benefits, and 70% of Fortune 500 companies had adopted it. This also sounded great. But there was a massive problem, particularly for Microsoft. Only 6% of these companies completed an enterprise-wide rollout, with a staggering 72% still in pilot or limited deployments. The promised return on investment, as high as 360%, was proving underwhelming. Most of those Fortune 500 companies were merely conducting limited trials with small groups, not implementing Copilot company-wide. It simply wasn't proving its worth for a full rollout, despite Microsoft's desire for universal adoption. After Microsoft's aggressive push, many people did try Copilot. But the results were far from consistent. Soon, support sites were flooded with complaints, comments, and angry reviews. Users reported issues like asking Copilot for a list of files opened that day, only for it to list irrelevant files from years ago, or simply providing instructions on how to perform tasks manually rather than executing them directly. One user lamented, "Copilot has been a negative productivity boost," while another expressed frustration that it won't do anything to my documents, it just gives me complicated instructions on how to do it myself. These aren't isolated horror stories. Many users, including myself, have found Copilot to be largely unhelpful, often offering excuses or instructions instead of direct assistance. And if you disliked Copilot, too bad, you couldn't easily remove it from OneNote, Excel, PowerPoint, or even parts of Windows itself. As one user bluntly put it, literally no one asked for all this AI. In fact, everyone wants to know how to remove it, while Microsoft simultaneously makes Windows 11 feel increasingly bloated. But the situation grows even more dire. To date, Microsoft has committed over $13 billion to ChatGPT, which serves as the foundational engine for Copilot. Yet, for a long time, Copilot didn't even use OpenAI's latest large language models, relying instead on older GPT-4 versions with Microsoft's own modifications. Despite this immense investment, Copilot often functions as a less capable version of ChatGPT, leading to a profound irony: users are simply opting for ChatGPT instead. As one frustrated user observed, when you ask ChatGPT to perform a specific function, it does so without hesitation. But Copilot? It struggles with the basics, and that's unacceptable, especially from a company like Microsoft. User data supports this, with ChatGPT scoring 97% for ease of use and 93% for meeting requirements, while Copilot lags at 86%. While 86% isn't terrible in isolation, the relative difference highlights Copilot's fundamental failure to achieve its core purpose. Reportedly, even Microsoft's own employees are paying out of pocket for ChatGPT rather than using Copilot. With Copilot's adoption rates plummeting far below benchmarks, only 1 in 5 salespeople hitting their AI sales targets, forcing Microsoft to lower their goals, and only 3% of 450 million Business 365 customers paying for Copilot, Microsoft decided to change tactics. Satya Nadella aimed to make everyone a Copilot user, whether they liked it or not, by pivoting to personal and family plans. In late 2024, Microsoft quietly made changes to its personal and family 365 plans, now including Copilot by default. The catch: Microsoft was subtly moving customers onto higher price tiers, increasing the personal plan by 45% and the family plan by 29%. If you wanted the original plan, Microsoft made it difficult to find, only revealing the classic version when users navigated to the cancel subscription path. In Australia and New Zealand, users can't even revert to the classic plan anymore. This aggressive tactic was so egregious that the Australian government sued Microsoft for pushing customers into higher-priced plans, seeking a penalty exceeding $50 million AUD. Instead of convincing users to buy Copilot, they decided to force it into products everyone already used. This aggressive strategy likely explains why Microsoft discontinued Windows 10 notably early. The built-in Copilot outside the browser is exclusive to Windows 11, and the company likely desired more users on their new flagship operating system to push their new big product. Ironically, for many, this became a significant reason to stick with Windows 10. People were simply fed up with Copilot, and it was now dragging the rest of Windows down with it. Users even coined a new derogatory name for the company, Microslop, and began referring to Copilot as CLIPPY 2.0, among other things. But one crucial question remains unanswered: what about Copilot for GitHub, touted as the future of coding? This reveals perhaps the greatest irony in this entire saga, because it seems not even Microsoft fully trusts Copilot for this purpose. Microsoft recently instructed thousands of its software engineers, staff responsible for Windows, Office, Teams, Edge, and Surface, to work with both Claude Code and GitHub Copilot, then report back on which performed better. Even non-technical employees, such as designers and project managers, were told to use Claude. Microsoft also forged a deal with Anthropic, allowing their Azure AI agent platform, Microsoft Foundry customers, to access all Claude agents, Claude Sonnet 4.5, Opus 4.1, and Haiku 4.5. If Copilot truly is the future of coding, why would Microsoft itself be promoting and using other platforms? The reality is, many developers utilize a variety of agents, not just one. Tools like Cursor are used for complex, multi-file code changes, while Claude Code excels at simple, repetitive edits. Copilot does have some unique, valuable uses. For instance, some developers find GitHub Copilot fantastic when adding inline code within JetBrains, a popular coding application, and for certain other specific tasks. However, Microsoft never intended Copilot to be a niche, albeit useful, coding agent. The real moneymaker for Microsoft lies in enterprise, those hundreds of millions of paid seats, and that's precisely where Copilot is falling critically short. Satya Nadella envisioned Copilot as essentially the next Windows, a revolutionary leap in computing. But deep down, it appears Microsoft recognizes Copilot as a significant stumbling block. It's often just a less effective ChatGPT, which itself faces growing competition from Google's recent success with Gemini. And now, it seems Microsoft is finally beginning to pull back on its aggressive Copilot push.